Shout out to Game of Thrones for not disappointing yet this season, Season 6. So this is the recap for Season 6, Episode 4, Book of the Stranger. The episode starts off with our boy Jon Snow, and he's talking with Ed. The issue is that, of course, Jon Snow officially quit as head of the Night's Watch. And, you know, the timing actually sucks because we know he got killed, so he's over. He's just like, how the hell am I supposed to be the leader of people who are willing to kill me? And I feel him on that. I'm like, Ed, I understand where you're coming from, but you're being a little selfish now. Let's not pretend that Jon Snow wasn't dead for a good couple of months now. And he just came back to life. And you want him to just jump right into the fray. That's not how this thing called life works. And just as, because I was thinking, crap, how is he going to go and leave the Night's Watch right when his sister's coming back? Thankfully, they didn't do this whole, okay, we're going to spend most of the season trying to find each other. No, they said, you know what? We're not playing with our fans. We're going to give them exactly what they want this season. And as he's having the conversation with Ed, you hear the horns sign off. The horns go off. Why? Because they're people that are entering the, oh, excuse me, allergies. Entering, and who else but Brienne of Towerth, and the one, the only, Sansa Stark. And at first I was like, okay, how are they going to play this? Because I kind of almost forgot, that Sansa was a little bit of an ass. Not a little bit. She was an ass, and she was crass, and she was rude to her brother, her half-brother, however you want to play it, Jon, when they were kids, when they were growing up. And so it was just like, even though I'm happy to see you, it's like kind of regret, shame, all that stuff, kind of both of them kind of feeling the same things at the same time. But that all got wiped away once. It was just like, you know what? That's my sister. That's my brother. Thankfully, we finally reconnected with some of our family. And so they embrace and they hug. And they trade just general war stories, just getting each other caught up. And, you know, again, we're seeing this new empowered Sansa, just like what I said in my previous recaps, where I feel like we're going to see a really Sansa Stark really finally be empowered, finally standing up, finally not backing down. And that's what we've been getting so far in Season 6. I know it's only on Episode 4, but still. And she's trying to give Jon the pep talk of his life, because right now he's feeling very defeated. He is scared. He is more lost than he's ever been. He thought he finally had a home, and then it was taken away from him. And then he was like, okay, his family members are getting picked off. So, and at the time he couldn't do anything about it. Now that he can, he's not sure if he should do anything. Because at the end of the day, he's in this weird predicament of, what is he really to do? Is he to go and fight, continue to fight, use the men that tried to kill him and also the wildlings to fight? Or is he just to back down, lay down, and die? Sansa's just like, look, we were not born to lay down and die. We were born to fight back. And so, here's the thing about it, though. And Davis goes, he speaks with the Red Lady, and the Red Lady's just like, you know what? I follow Jon Snow. I put my faith in Jon Snow at this point because I tried to put my faith in Sheeran, and look at what happened. He was killed. Well, guess what? Because Brienne was there and she was the one that actually killed him, she was like, you know what? I was there. You don't need to talk to the Red Lady. You can talk to me. I killed him. You know why I killed him? Because that woman right there used her blood magic to go and kill my one and only, whatever is his brother. And so, because of that, I went and I killed him. And I do it again. And you just see Davis and the Red Lady shook like, ooh, this is awkward. We've all lost people that we love and appreciate. And so it's like, are they really going to work together? Are they really going to work together? Yeah, we'll see about that. Next, we have Robin, who, of course, now is in charge of, what is it? The White Light? Whatever it's called. You know what I'm talking about. And Peter comes back. Peter, in his shifty, shady ways, comes back. And essentially, he's just like, you know what? I have a gift for you, young king. And he gives them this, what is it, an eagle? No, falcon. He gives him this falcon. And of course, it's just to distract and appease him. And what he really needs from the Young King is to go and have the Young King send his forces to Castle Black so that he can go and get Sansa Stark. And it's funny because the Young King's right-hand man was just like, wait a minute now. Weren't you the one that essentially went and gave up Sansa Stark? No, that's not true. Pete tried to flip it and say, oh, you know, I went to Sansa Stark and I, we did have a plan, and then Ramsay went and intersected. And how is it that Ramsay knew where we were, knew what we were about, knew what we were doing? And it was like, it was you. And so then the Young King's just like, oh, well, that was is that my cousin? So should we just throw him down the rabbit hole? You know what I mean. Throw him down into the free fall. And so Peter's just like, you know what? Let's give him another chance. Peter's slick because Peter needs someone like him around. But he doesn't need someone like him around with a lot of lip. So that was his way of getting him to shut up. And like, we already know that because of the whole, oh, you'll never love me like I love you type of thing, Peter was willing to give Sansa up at the time. Completely disloyal. We'll see how that works out later on. And after that, we have Grey Worm. We have our girl. I always mispronounce her name. Sorry about that. Missandei. Yeah, Missandei. Yeah, and Theon. They're going, and Varys. They're talking with the three kings is what I'm going to call them. Not in a biblical blasphemous way, but I'm just going to call them the three kings for now. Oh yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. And he's speaking with them because essentially he knows that they've been working with those, the masked people. What the hell are those masked people called? The Harpies of the Vale? Oh, I remembered it! The Harpies of the Vale. And so he needs them to stop funding them, stop giving them resources, and the way how he'll do it is, okay, so your queen, where is she, by the way? Don't worry about where she is. Oh yeah, and the dragons, yep, the dragons are still here. They're still in the clutch, and we actually fed them this time, so they're ready to go. And here's what we need for you to do. We'll give you a trade. We'll hold off on making you guys succumb and free your slaves now. We'll give you 7 whole years. 7 whole years of enslavement, and you'll gradually create a system where the slaves are able to coexist and it not be like what's going on in our backyard. And we'll wine and dine you, and we'll do all these things to make sure that you're still comfortable. Of course, Grey Worm and Missandei are pissed because they're like, they are slaves themselves. They were slaves themselves. So to hear Tyrion, who was supposed to go and essentially speak on the behalf of the queen, who's just like, no, we're not doing slavery, period. Tyrion had to do what he needed to do in order to get results. Queen Daenerys, unfortunately, even though what she's doing is right, the way how she's handling it in the real world is wrong. Because she's trying to do the my way or the highway. And that doesn't work in the real world when you have these misogynistic men around. That's just not going to work when you have these misogynistic men around. So they agreed to the terms. We'll see how long that lasts though. But they agreed to the terms. They put out one fire. Now they have to go and deal with another fire. We have the people who were enslaved with at least some form of power, or at least a voice, and Tyrion now has to go and speak to them, speak with them, I should say, because they know about the meetings that was being held with the three kings, and it's just like, they essentially find out that, okay, so slavery is still gonna exist for the other people? You're supposed to be helping. How is that helping us? How is that really helping us? What are you doing? And essentially, Tyrion had to go and do a 180. He was like, well, you know, this room was essentially built with slaves and to oppress. And you see how the people in power are at the top and all the rest of you are at the bottom. I'm going to come down to your level. Technically, I'm short, so I'm not going to come down too low because I still want to be eye level with you. But it was just like, look, at the end of the day, we can't go and force our Tyrion goes and enlists the help of Grey Worm because he needs to have someone who is clearly a beacon and voice of the people to speak to the people to let them know that we are doing this because it's in the best interest of everyone. Slavery will be abolished. Unfortunately, it'll take longer than we initially anticipated. And so, once they felt like they kind of lost Tyrion, they went to Missandei. And she was just like, you know what? A great man once told me. I'm like, you should say a great woman. But, again, you're speaking to men. But whatever. That we don't break bread and act as friends and comrades to our enemies. Or something like that. And essentially, that was just her the roundabout way of saying, at the end of the day, we know that our enemies are our enemies. But if we need something from them, we can't just go and do a blitz and a Hail Mary. We have to go and work, not with them, but, you know, meet them not halfway, a quarter of the way. Because the thing is, you can't go in the guns blazing. And again, Grey Worm and Missandei are pissed because it's just like, you promised this, you promised that. I follow the queen, I don't follow you. I don't have time for this whole, oh, well, you know, because the queen is gone, you're going to go and do whatever you want. It's just like, no, I'm doing this in the best interest of the queen. They were like, no, you're doing this in the best interest of yourself. And we're watching you. We are watching you because if you try this again, we'll see what happens. And after that, of course, the queen's right-hand men, Jorah and Daario, they're going to get the queen back. And Dara's being his usual self. He's being his usual self, and he's messing with Jorah. That name's gonna mess with me, but okay. And Jorah's just like, look, we're gonna go and get the queen back. I don't care if you're betting the queen, because she's gonna leave you eventually. She'll leave you, she'll find another, hopefully it's me, even though we know I'm gonna die at some point. There is an expiration date on my life. And Doris is just like, alright, so anyway, how are we going to sneak in there? Well, we can't do it with weapons. And I'm thinking to myself, and this is when Dora finds out that Jorah has that illness and that he doesn't have that long to live. And so, of course, because it is contagious, he doesn't go anywhere near. He's just like, you know, I'll deal it, I'll handle it, I'll get rid of all my weapons. But as we know, he's probably going to sneak something in there. Probably, yes. Of course he sneaks his trusty little knife. Well, I'm going to call it a blade. A short blade, not a knife. But anyway, so they sneak into the Dothraki camp. And, well, I guess you can call it a camp. Their version of a camp. Their huge version of a camp. And the funny thing is about that is they get caught. They get caught quickly. The plan was initially to act like they were merchants. That didn't work out too well. They got into a fight, and Darius was able to go and kill one of his people. The neck was snapped, and so with the Dothraki, because they are very physical, manly, and aggressive, it's not like that's uncommon for them to fight each other once in a while. And the other person who Jorah was actually fighting, he was winning because Jorah is in a very weakened state right now because of the illness. So, Darius goes and stabs him in the back with a knife that he hid. Now, the issue is the Dothraki are going to freak out if they think that it was a weapon that killed him. That's why they're like, okay, we have to make it look like an accident. So they take this huge-ass rock and smash his head in. I was like, Darius, I'm a little afraid of you because you're the type to go and smile in people's face and stab them in the back if you have the opportunity to. If you're loyal to them, no. But just, you have it in you to go that crazy. I'm just like, oh, we ain't gonna mess with you. So now we're dealing with Khaleesi, and she's speaking with all the other Dothraki widows. And unfortunately, it's just like, they don't like her, and she's not officially inducted into their camp, into their group yet. And like I said last episode, or the episode prior to that one, I was like, look, we know how Khaleesi is. Wherever she goes, she conquers. Or her own version of conquering, ruling. She does it her way. And I was like, this place is going to be no different. And I was right, but we're jumping too far ahead. So, essentially, He's just like, you know, you can't scare me. Whether I get abducted or not, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I gotta go get some fresh air, gotta go and pee, gotta go get some water, but I'm not running anywhere. And I'm like, damn straight you're not running anywhere, because you're there to conquer. You're there to rule. And so she goes and she walks with this Dothraki bride. I think she's like 16 or something like that. And essentially her man was abusive to her and I think killed her baby or something. It was something crazy. And so Khaleesi quickly bonded with her. Now they're going for a walk. And of course the girls ask her questions about her dragons and all of that. But none of that really matters, because Khaleesi's men go and they jump the girl. They don't jump and beat her up, but they pull a knife to her, and Khaleesi was just like, no. She is loyal to me. She will work with me. We are going to go and conquer. We're not going to go in there guns blazing, but fire will be involved. Because I am the mother of dragons, the last Targaryen. And after that, we have the High Sparrow talk with Marjorie. And the High Sparrow essentially goes and talks with Marjorie and just talks about how his life was, how he really indulged in sin. He grew up poor, of course, and he went and made shoes. He made a living for himself, and he had friends. Everything was artificial. The friends, the women, the money, the booze, the house, the lodging. It was all artificial. So after one drunken stupor, he woke up one day and he had a revelation. He left it all behind and went on this holy walk and this holy path. And of course, that was all well and good, but we get to the good stuff. We finally get to see Marjorie go and reunite with her brother. She reunites with her brother, but her brother is officially broken. He's officially broken because I'm sure whatever they were doing to her, they were doing to him a lot worse, because for her, it was more so her lying about the fact that she knew what her brother and ex-husband were doing to each other, with each other, for each other. With her brother, his charges are, you were actually an act. You were the one actually committing the direct sin. So we're definitely going to get that ass. And I'm not saying that as a ha. I'm saying that as a, they must have messed him up, because he is already broken. And he was just like, you need to tell and do whatever you have to in order to get us out of here. I cannot take this anymore. I cannot deal with this anymore. I can't do it. Marjorie's just like, you need to stay strong. And I'm just like, why is it that we have these strong ass women who are at the end of the day usually put in a position of power, but as it pertains to the men, they would never be seen as equal as it pertains to the men, even though they're the ones with the willpower. On these shows, the women are always the ones with the willpower. And that pisses me off, because even though we hate Cersei, at least Cersei was authoritative enough to get things done almost like a man. And that's the only thing I liked about Cersei. The only thing. And like I said, Marjorie's really trying to get her brother not to break, because she was like, they brought me in here so that you would break. She was just like, I'm already broken, so you need to do whatever you needs to do to get me out of here, because things are getting from bad to worse. And it looks like she loves her brother so much, she's willing to go along with the plan. Now, we have Tommen, and he's stalking with, you know, that crookedy old man who's supposed to be one of the councilmen. Yeah. Where is that man? Where is he? I'm trying to find him on here. Maybe he's not on here. But anyway, you know who I'm talking about. Oh, Grand Magister. Grand Magister Pasele. Yeah, that guy gets on my nerves. I'll never forget that scene where he was actually, where we actually saw him stand up straight for once, and he was bedding this woman. I was just like, see, that's the real you. Stop faking the funk. Anyway, so Tommen is speaking with his mother, and Tommen is afraid of the High Sparrow. He's afraid of the High Sparrow because of the fact that the High Sparrow has a lot of influence and power, especially in their town. So he's afraid to go and get his wife back. He wants to, but he's afraid to do it because the High Sparrow's like, we're going to hurt her, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We're going to get your mom back because she's still on trial. You know, so Tommen's dealing with a lot. But Tommen goes and drops a bomb. to Cersei. Cersei walks in, and of course you have Marjorie's grandmother there. And so Cersei and Jaime are talking with Marjorie's grandmother and the king's right hand, because it's like, I have a bomb to drop for you. Guess what? The High Sparrow has broken Marjorie. Well, maybe it's not necessarily broken Marjorie, but Marjorie's gonna go and confess her sins and do the walk of shame throughout town. And do you want that to happen? No. Do you want that to happen? No. And your son, he's not in any better shape either. Do you want him to be free? Yes. Do you want your grandson to be free? Yes. Well, we're gonna have to work together, because here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go and we're going to get the, what is it? The Tyrion army? Was it the Tyrion army? Let me see. Whose army was it? Yeah, I think so. And they'll march into town. They'll march into town, and I don't care if a holy war starts between us and the High Sparrow. We're gonna do whatever it takes to stop that march from happening. We're gonna go and kidnap Marjorie. We're gonna go give her to the king. The king will be empowered, take out all of those, the religious factions, and we'll be good. Now, Theon is going back home. Theon's going back home and his sister right now is pissed, because his sister right now is just like, so why are you back? Are you here to take the throne from me? Because they're not going to go and give it to me, and they want me to fight for it. And I know what you are. I know that you're broken. Speak up. You were a man once. Be a man again. Just because you lost your unit and that you are a eunuch doesn't mean that you're not a man anymore. So why are you here? And Theon's just like, I want to be here with my sister. I'm going to support you. We are going to make sure that you win. That is why you are here. Now, Ramsay goes and he talks with the live-in grounder woman, the living grounder woman of the Starks, and she was just like, I was like, wait a minute, why is she going and really appeasing Ramsay so much? I know why, because she's trying to kill him. Shout out to her for trying. But at the end of the day, Theon ran his mouth once he was tortured enough. And so, of course, he gave the information about the grounder woman who was working for the Starks and actually seemed to like the Starks. So Ramsay didn't trust her for a second. Ramsay was trying to just mess with her, give her a glimmer of hope. And then he went and stabbed her in the neck. I was pissed. I thought she would have had more longevity than that. I really thought she might have had more longevity than that, but it's just how it is sometimes. And it looks like Brienne's gonna get her a man. Looks like Brienne's gonna finally get herself a man. Because remember, I guess you can say the king of the Grounders, when she first rode in, he looked very infatuated with her. And it looks like he really was, because he's never seen a woman like that before. Because remember, Brienne is huge. She's not fat or anything, but she is just like a big woman. Big statuesque woman, like Amazonian type. And everyone, so they're having their own version of a round table, and Ramsay goes and sends notice to Snow, and here's essentially how it is. He wants Sansa back, because remember, without Sansa getting married to her, having a kid with her, he can't fully secure the North. She is like a beacon of light and hope, and so he needs her back. So he essentially threatens them. It's just like, we're going to go there. We're going to attack you. We're going to kill all of you. Then, he doesn't want to read the rest. Well, actually, that's when they find out that their little brother, the youngest Stark, what is it, Ryan? He's captured. And Sansa's like, it's true. This is Ramsay. He's not the type to lie. Which is weird enough. Odd enough. But he's not the type to lie. So it must be true. We need to go and do whatever we can to get her back. We need to go and fight. I'm tired of this whole sitting on the back burner. You are a Stark. We're going to go and reclaim our home. We're going back home. We're going to take your numbers and go and fight them. It was like, how many grounders, not grounders, what am I talking about, the 100? How many wildlings do we have to fight for us? And it was just like, at most, there are 2,000 and or something like that who can fight versus 5,000, or maybe out of the 2,000, there's a lot of men, women, and children, something like that. It was something crazy, but Ramsay has at least 5,000 at his command. It's going to be more soon, but at least 5,000 as of now. So they're just like, we're screwed. So Sansa's just like, I don't care. We're going to fight. I've been on the back burner for too long. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm standing up for myself. I'm standing up for my family. Like, there you go, Sansa. There you go, Sansa. And, oh yeah, I did skip the part where Ramsay also threatened to, like, rape her and have his men rape her and do all this stuff. Now we're back at the Dothraki camp, and they're deciding the fate of Khaleesi. Now, here's the thing. These men don't know who they're messing with. These men try to say how, oh, it's up to us, and how you are a witch, you are a fool, you let a sorcerer go, and, well, this part was true, a sorcerer go and kill your baby, and also kill your husband, and you want us to listen to anything you have to say? And I should have known that something epic was about to happen. The fact that they let her talk as much as they did give her that type of monologue, I was like, why is she getting close to the fire? Because she was just like, you know what? I'm not going to be sold to slavers. I'm not going to be violated by you guys. I'm not going to be held up in a keep with the old smelly women. I'm going to go and take charge of the Dothraki and claim my stake as the queen of the Dothraki, just like everyone else that I've ruled. And so I was like, okay, but how is she going to do it? How is she going to do it? With fire. I'm like, are the dragons going to come back? No, that's not how it works. Clearly, she had her right-hand men go and case the joint. They probably went and put, flammable substances on the ground, like surrounding the entire building inside and out, so that would burn. So she kept going and knocking down the pits of fire, one after the other, giving this epic monologue until everything burned down. Now remember, because she's a mother of dragons, flames don't affect her. And she came out like a phoenix. She walked out of there. She walked out of that hut like a phoenix, and everyone bowed to her. And it was like, okay, game time. Everyone bowed down. Game time. That was it. That was it. But in a awesome, epic way. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think about this season so far. I'm so bad that Game of Thrones is back in full force. In full force.